of the program, The Banter. It's good to be here again, and I am super excited. Hello, guys.
What's
hello,
up?
hello.
How you doing?
Hello, Bantu.
You've given yourself another
I
name.
don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know you miss me.
Like, seriously? Let me start from Daddy Jerry. How do you today?
I'm fine, darling. How you look good? You know,
Thank
always
you.
looking good.
Thank you. But don't mind this voice, so we'll manage it.
Of course, we have no choice.
The lights.
It's good to be on the show.
This one, I forced it like this, like you're ready to battle.
Yes, I'm preparing my mind against this guy.
He loves me.
Oh,
He just can't
goodness.
help it.
Okay, so Julie, what's up? I know you're
Well, everything good and nice. I'm set for today. I just want to kick it, kick it.
this guy. All right, easy.
Oh well, it's good to be here again. It's good to be here.
Easy boy.
So be here.
Yes,
Easy to
but
go.
I'm so
Easy to
easy.
go.
I'm so easy. I'm so
And he's
easy.
taking it really easy.
Yeah.
All right, you are welcome once again, and we'll just go straight into the topic. To start with, we want to look at public and private schools. To start with, we'll be having a conversation around this, and I would say that here in Nigeria, we see education at sometimes very mandatory. Especially from ages 6 to 15, where we take from nursery, primary, and I think basically that primary level from primary 1 to primary 6, or you call it class now. I think they don't use primary.
Year one.
Year one.
Yeah.
To year 6, and for some maybe they get to JSS 3, and luckily for some they extend to SS 3 and further to the higher institution. Well, in all categories, education is education, and we just want to look around it. Let's compare private and public schools at all levels. So we have a teacher in the house, so we'll start from So Dami, you can help set the pace.
Okay. Thank you very much. First and foremost, public schools are those ones owned, like we all know, by the government, right? And while private schools are the ones that are owned by certain individuals. Okay, so basically the difference between them, like as a result of my own experience after visiting public and private schools, is basically amenities. They don't have the basic amenities. You see some public schools in these recent times they're still using chalk. I was surprised when I saw some of them. Yes.
I used chalk while I was in school.
Then again,
Are
That
you
was
sure?
there.
Currently, like
then
currently.
again, yeah, correct. And then again, well, I don't mention some schools. There are some also that are private but still use chalk anyway.
But does that have any impact on the learning process?
Well, it depends. It depends because they still learn. Learning is learning, but with advanced technology is faster.
Yeah.
They learn more, they see more things, you have the system, you have, the world is now a global village, so you're exposed to more. But chalk, you're still in the ancient of days now. When they say ape man became from ape to man, Charles Darwin's theory. So,
If I may ask, what are basic amenities do you feel that public schools do not have?
you don't have and apart from amenities also, staffing also. They are understaffed, which is very important, and they have wider range of student to teacher ratio. The students are more than the teachers. Okay, some of them don't have fans, some of them don't have light, some of them don't have. You can imagine some of them. The buildings are just like that. It's not properly built and all of that.
Okay, so basically you're speaking to public schools now.
Yeah, I'm speaking to public schools.
Okay. So let's have it.
I've listened to all that she has said, and I beg to differ from what she has, because I've been to, in fact, the only place I attended a private school was maybe in my primary.
Okay.
My secondary, my uni, I go to public owned.
Okay.
And I can tell you to a fact that it may not be to the extent of private school, the facilities and everything they have, it may not be up to that extent.
Okay.
But I can tell you that the basic things that are there is sufficient to help the students while learning. But either way, we must still remember that public school is more affordable than those private schools. Private schools, they can even collect up to, money for the little thing like pen or pencil. They can collect money for it. So public schools do not charge for anything, and maybe just the common things like our all those things that we pay for, but they don't collect tuitions like what the private school does. Even in terms of teacher qualification, public schools have more qualified teachers than the private schools. I take for instance the universities. You see that in some universities you have more in some private universities you have more public school teachers or more public federal government lecturers coming to lecture in those universities. I also give an instance of another point of maybe what they call it now, classroom size. The private schools may have more less students, but public schools have more.
And that's as a result of affordability.
Yeah, but
That may not be as a result of affordability.
Part of
it
it.
is.
No,
It
it's
Part of it.
no,
There
it's
is
not.
no-
Part of this
See,
because
it is.
Okay,
a
let's just hear you.
good
Let's hear.
amount of the average
Yeah.
Nigerian do not have that money to go,
go and
pay
pay.
for.
How many in a, okay, for instance, in a, I don't know if you attended a public university, in 100 level you find out a full hall,
Yes.
a long hall is full. If you go to a private university, where do you want to see that? How many people can even afford 1 million to pay for school fees, or even half a million to pay for school
You
fees?
know. Okay, so let's come to Julie before we get to Israel.
Well, it all depends on how we want to see it, which is better, public or private. For some reasons, I think the essence is either school you go to, at the end of the day, we should be able to say the expected outcome has been met. And over the years, Nigeria as a nation, we've had our leaders through and through being taught and raised in public schools, from Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, Obafemi Awolowo, Wole Soyinka, Ralph Ogbara, Muyiwa Awe. You know,
can mention
these-
all of them.
They are all public schools.
Schools
And
like
at
Top
that time, these people
that
have not risen to
produce-
that point that they begin to think of having their own.
Wait,
schools.
no, let him talk.
A lot of
I'm
them-
gonna break him
I
up.
even doubt.
I'm gonna-
I even doubt that
I'm
there's
in
any
the
private
focus.
institution that
But,
has
yeah.
that has brought out prominent Nigerians
Yeah,
like
very.
Unilag and King's College.
And also, you know, he started something about he
I'm
started
proud
something
case you-
Queen's
I know.
College,
Okay,
Queen
so,
Amina
yes.
in Ilorin.
Okay.
He also made mention of something about standards. Government regulate the standards
Okay.
in public schools, unlike what you have in private schools in most cases.
Even
I mean-
even private schools come to public schools to borrow syllabus and this thing
Yeah, the
curriculum
whole
for a
curriculum.
term.
And so-
Yeah,
So
no,
to a very
Okay,
so let's allow him.
qualified,
Let's allow him.
you have
Let's-
more
yeah.
qualified teachers in the public sector than you would in private.
Yeah.
When it comes to education, I mean, the government is very serious about it, and even child discipline. Because after your school, you say after so years in character and learning, you have more discipline in public schools. I know majority of them are not really encouraged, as the case may be, but back then you don't go to
dare not
school
to
and
mess up.
you dare not and all that. So
So
these
so-
are
so-
things,
so
and
let me
also
speak to that.
and also, you know, we've had our footballers, athletes from
From
public
public
schools. Some private schools don't even have a pitch. Yet you
No
pay
space.
money for PHE.
No space
But there is
for
no, they have their Wednesdays, they wear their,
wear
they don't
their
play anything.
sport wear.
Those guys just eat and play around in the classroom.
I
They can't
give
play
you-
any
I give
football.
I give you an
So you know what I'm
example of the Labjekas game, that is Lagos State first generation school games. They did this for the time I was in secondary school. They did this for consecutive 3 years, and there was no private school that could even come in the first 3.
They can't
It
because
was just King's College, FSTC, and Queen's College that were always winning. So what are we talking about?
so
we send
so
you back to your school to go and bring money for us.
and so
Pay us
when
here.
when we see government involvement in the public schools, you will understand where we are going. And also private schools almost always are profit driven. So I was thinking in my head, how much does it take you to train a medical student in private schools in Nigeria. I'm not saying the United States. Just imagine it. And if you went to a federal university or state university, the difference is like life and almost death.
So let's
And
have
so,
this round.
Okay, so while we are having this conversation, I begin to have a rethink of all we have been saying. Now, according to a report by World Bank in 2022, the report was titled Education and Health Services in Nigeria. The report said private schools consistently perform better than public schools across all indicators. A notable distinction was in their management of human resources. So I begin to wonder why you're telling me that private, okay, you said that private schools do not have qualified teachers.
You said who? Whose report?
By the World Bank.
By the World Bank, right?
By the World Bank. So, and this is this same World Bank that used to support, that is still supporting public schools. You understand? Because when you go to all these public schools, you see by Tech Fund, by all those things. So if those who are actually supporting, funding those, can you calm down?
Allow him now.
Ah.
Okay, let's have you.
So if those who are supporting these schools are even saying that private schools are perform better, then who are we to sit on this table? I graduated.
Qualification. You said what? Please, let's get this. When we're having conversation.
Please, can you just let me talk?
Can you just do the
just his opinion and have his his time. So let's have you.
It is a report. It's online. You can go and check it. That's what I'm saying. Now, some of us are beginning to say that private school does not have qualified teachers. Who told you? And you said Nigeria as a country, we have turned out notable people.
Yes.
Wait, despite those people that we've turned out,
should we continue?
Okay, thank you.
I'm just supporting what you are saying. Now, if they have turned out those people, and this country is still where we are today, they are the one ruling us. They are the one ruling us, and we are still where we are today. Then I question that.
Academical learning different. There's a difference between
good, which means learning does not take place then in public, because if these people were the people who were trained in the public schools, if these people were the people who were trained in public schools, and they are ruling us like this now. With Agbado, or you understand? They are doing us like this, and you said no. So there is a need for us to look through it and know that private schools, private institutions are doing better.
Thank you. Let me come in here. I think there's a need for us to speak to categories.
Okay.
Classification.
Okay.
There are schools and there are schools. At every level, as in we have levels. You have the lowest of them. You have the semi-lower, the middle. So there are classifications.
Exactly.
We don't just put all of them together and say private schools are not good, public schools are not good. Even to public schools, there are classifications. You would compare a public school in the urban area with the one in the rural area. We cannot. The kind of teachers you have in urban areas and those you have, especially coming to secondary and primary schools now, the ones you have in the urban areas and the one you have in the rural areas, you cannot put them at the same level. Although I think it's not supposed to be, but at the same time, I think they begin to deal with the level of understanding.
It because number one, you have to look at rural areas and urban areas. Like
yes.
The cost of living
in
rural
it's
areas
different. So that is where tuition fee comes to play. That is where tuition fee comes to play. It is not.
The level of survival, how they survive.
Do you understand?
Rent, they're talking about land.
Cheno Achebe was raised in the local area.
I never doubted that. So what impact? What positive impact? What positive impact?
Please, you need to understand that the school does not teach you how to become.
Yes.
Okay. Who told you? Then the function of the school is defeated. The function of the school is defeated. If I graduate and
okay. Hold on. For me, I think even when you go outside of the school will do its own part.
Exactly.
Outside of the school, you have the responsibility.
Exactly.
You have the guys must
Yes.
to push more into
So
how
how
can-
does
Do you
the
understand?
school now play a role in that?
Good, because the school has not prepared them well. Now listen and listen good. Now listen and listen good.
How do you want
Listen.
to prepare them well?
Listen.
Easy. The Nigerian school that went from Nigeria and went to Dubai, and we saw a leaked video of those children. Were they public students or
Okay, are you saying
So
I
you
went
say- are you
I
saying
went to
we
a
don't
private
have
school?
that in
Hold on.
public
Are you saying we don't have that in
I
private
want
school?
to-
In public
I want to
school?
see.
In fact, it started from the public schools.
No.
It started. I attended the public
Let's
school.
calm
Give me my
down.
example.
Let's calm
Bring
down.
one. Bring another
You
one.
remember the leaked tape of those secondary school students that were doing what do you call it? The sex
The
tape
excursion,
stuff in Dubai.
Yeah, that is.
That's what I think.
That's what it
Yes.
is. What I'm saying is that are you saying such and even worse things are not happening in public schools? I dare you it. In fact, it's happening more. Even in public schools, in secondary schools, you have cultism there. You have cultism
Let's
there.
speak to
You have homosexuality
Okay.
there.
Let's speak to
Okay.
We
very.
cannot.
In this
Calm
current,
down.
in this sorry,
It's
in
okay.
this
No.
current
Thank you. Let's bring it down. Thank you. At least let's have 2 seconds of calmness. Breathe in, breathe out. Thank you. So, speaking to verified.
Yes, we should talk to verifiable
Okay, so I want to
information,
take
facts.
you back.
Let's-
This is fact, and I want to speak from experience. You understand? Those days.
Because experience is best.
Yes, those days they were
No,
not the age.
experience could be
Wait
called-
Calm down.
now.
Let's hear talk.
No.
This was not the age of technology where we have phones to cover events and all of that. But I want to tell you that when I was in JSS3, right, junior secondary, there is this group of ladies that would go out after school during school period. They jump the fence. They don't go through the gates because I must tell you, when it comes to discipline, public school, I give it to them.
Yes.
You understand? When you see students roam around during school hours, trust me, they are not going into the school. Because once it's 8, the gate is locked. When you come in, you will be flogged. You will be punished, you will be penalized, you pick, you do,
Or
you cut,
grass.
you know.
Grass.
You understand? So they use the fence to go out of the school. With time, they were caught, that there is this man that sells stuff not too far from the school. They go there to mess around and all of them. They brought them into the school on the assembly ground to discipline them. They confessed. In fact, one was close to me. I did not know. Thank God I was not. They didn't rub me in the whole mess. I know. I can remember the name very well. In fact, sometimes I just think, how I can even find this girl, because that was the end of these people in the school. They were expelled.
A public school, right?
Yes, a public school. I attended a public
You
school
dare
all
not.
through.
You dare not.
So
See,
I am telling
when
you that
you-
this
when
thing
you talk
happens
about-
not just in public school.
Yes,
And
it
even-
happens
and-
in
and
public
even-
schools.
Now, let me give you another angle to that. There was a principal who came to schools. One came, he saw the level of notorious activity in the school. The lady said, if you can't read, and she expelled students. Like the other principal, you don't come to school late. He stands at the gate. And people are running from miles away.
Yes.
There is a name, I don't want to mention his name.
Yes.
They start running. You can't try that. They just tell you, you can't beat my child in a private
know,
school.
the parents
If you
will
do
come
that,
and
Let me
Now, to tackle what you
remember
just
you
said,
said something about profit driven, right?
Yes.
That's the more reason
That's
why
the
private
focus,
schools can't
right?
even enforce discipline.
it's
Because
It is-
To take their kids away.
it is only, see, when we're talking about private school, like he said, we have private school and we have private school.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are categories.
See, I think the level of your exposure to private school is why you're saying all
What you
this.
can
Yeah.
speak to
See,
them.
when you go to private schools, when you attend private schools that have this moral standard, they have this standard.
They
See,
rarely have it.
They, oh
I
my
have
goodness,
them,
they-
rarely.
maybe the one
They
in
have
your
it
street,
in the-
maybe the one
on
in
the
your
walls.
street,
They have
maybe
it
the one
on the
that has
walls.
the,
But they
that
don't
put
even-
international
Can you-
in the
can
name
you
of
count
this.
Easy,
ten?
No, we
Bobo.
can't
Give
mention
me-
names on this platform.
Yeah,
I would have
but-
mentioned
but-
names.
I doubt
And let me now put it to you. Let me now put it to you. Let me now put it to you. Let me now put it to you that in the next 10 years, because some of our social media influencers now, go and check, some of them attend private university. Calm down. We're not going to mention them now. Calm down.
I'm in the university and I can tell you that 70% of influencers attend public
See,
school.
did I mention? I didn't mention percentage.
I can tell.
I only took. I
am
said
giving
some.
you with facts.
So I'm telling you that gradually times are changing. People know that education. People know that education is not something to be toyed with. Just like the government are toying with it. They are doing what they like about it. Now, let me tell you, times are changing. Times are changing. Now, private schools are taking over.
How do you mean? What's
How?
Private schools are taking over in the sense that even private. There are some things.
People can even afford 1 million to pay for a session fee.
Let me tell you, that is to you. If you don't have the money, that's another thing. If you don't have the wherewithal, you understand? If you don't have the wherewithal, that's another thing. But if you have the money and you want quality education, quality, please go for it. Go for it.
They can't even hit 100 in JAM. They head straight.
And I can tell you,
Yes, that's the truth.
and I can tell you, some private universities, some private schools won't take you if you don't know these things.
People try to enter
Let me
Unilag.
tell you something. Let me tell you about that. They're telling me that public schools, do you know, don't even go there.
No, let's go there. Let's go there. I want us there. How many students in?
I guess we are going to be doing just this stuff.
Do you know about expos when exam papers used to be?
Don't mind them. It's in
There
private.
are private schools that pay. They settle.
They are not the chief.
See, in private school, the center focus is the skill. What the student has up here. But in public schools,
It's profit.
There's no skill.
Alright guys,
It's
alright
profit.
guys. We are coming back to this topic. I mean, we might probably just be doing only this today. Let's go on a short break. We'll come back to this topic. We'll be back. Alright, welcome back. It's been a very heated argument and conversation around here over this very topic. And like I said before, wait on that break. We will be bringing it back. So, guys, can you just please? Do you want me to kneel down? Please just give yourself time. Let's have time.
Please do. I want to see her kneel down.
Just accept the fact that private schools provide more quality education.
What's the quality?
Hey,
That's
I want to start from Danny, please.
No, let's start from him. He said private school offers more quality. What's the quality?
Okay, so because she mentioned something
That
before we went on
expo,
break.
that expo,
You know, she talked about expo.
because
So can you expand?
like public schools, they are more into that expo thing, you know, because they are not exposed to real academics. Says who?
Did you say public?
Did
or
you attend?
private?
Did you attend a public school? That's the question. I did. So that means
this
you
is-
did not attend classes.
How won't I attend
I
classes?
doubt. I doubt.
How won't I attend classes?
So why are you
I
saying?
know,
Why
because this
are
is-
you making the point that public schools are not exposed to more?
Because you know, this is what we saw. You know, and that's why I left from. I attended like how many secondary schools. I had to leave. Eventually, I found my way back to private school, and the difference was really clear.
Well,
Yeah,
your
I found my
time,
way
your
back.
time, your time, the time you were in school was different from my own time. My own time, we covered everything. Yeah. I'm okay. I give you. Sorry that I'm mentioning the name of my school too much.
Don't mention it.
Okay. Even though I say it, people will know. My school happened to be the best, like back to back for 5 good years.
So how many?
So if they were not able to cover the syllabus, how come they could provide such numbers
What
to
are
get
the
there?
parameters? What are the parameters before they give them that best? What parameters?
Obviously, WAEC exam and the
That
other
is what- That's
exams.
exactly what we are saying.
So what are you?
Now,
So
what
what's
we're
the
saying-
okay?
What we're saying is this: we have reduced education to paperwork. We have, if you have A's in your wife, but I tell you that is not that is
So-
not applicable now.
So, okay.
Now, what private school are focusing on is your skill. What you have to, what it's in your brain.
Yeah.
What's this?
Now,
What's
calm down. Some of the reasons why I personally prefer private school is one, they have alternative educational philosophies. Now, you see in some private school, they have what they call Montessori. They have other programs for extra that you can't find in the public school. I don't know any public schools you will find this kind of.
Sorry.
Montessori
Look
or
for what you want to say.
Another thing.
You can look for it. Keep looking for it.
Can you allow me to?
You are looking for it. You are looking for
Can you allow me
it.
to?
Normally, I will be disappointed in this guy, but today I'm disappointed in this guy. If you are looking for skill, if you are looking to learn a skill,
Okay.
why don't you take your child to where they are learning skills?
Now, listen.
If you are looking, if you are bringing your child to a school
it is the failed education that makes people.
don't need
To
to raise your voice to
It
make
is
a
the
point.
failed education. And this is why I'm also
Hello,
disappointed
listen.
at it, you understand?
Listen to
This
me.
is why I'm also disappointed at it, because
Listen to me. Listen to me.
So thank
Are you
you.
ready to listen
Thank
to
you
me?
for the
I can't
backup.
listen
I
to
want
you.
to
You're
have-
not ready to
No, I'm
listen.
not going to listen to you.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay,
going to
let's
listen.
have the
Please let him withdraw that statement. That
That's-
disappointed statement. Please withdraw it. We're on a show.
Okay.
He said
So
she- he
it's
said
my
she will
view.
do it.
My apologies. I'm not disappointed.
This is
I'm
okay.
ashamed. I'm ashamed of you.
Please come.
It's his opinion.
Please come.
So my bad. I take that back. My point is this: you cannot say that you are bringing your child to come and learn a skill in school. If you want to learn a skill as extracurricular activities, that's fine. You are coming to a place whereby the major purpose for your being there is academic work.
Okay.
Now, from there are other reasons.
I beg to disagree.
What is academic? What is academic?
So, okay.
Now let me draw
Let's have- let's have
my education from the word educado and all that. Its intent is to help you think.
Thank you.
Become better citizens.
Think and solve problems.
Yeah.
Montessori is for kids. They do more sound and all that. It's for Italian. It's at Italy as its origin. Montessori, it's someone's name. It's a method of teaching, not necessarily the best.
Okay.
All right. And
Thank
so
you.
let's get our facts. Critical thinking and problem
Solving.
skills
Exactly.
is what we really need. So you can't even tell me how many private schools do critical thinking and problem solving skills. How many of them? And so let's talk to the real issue. Now, if the government would invest like they did in some years ago in education and make sure the qualified teachers are well to pay, why do some people go to be taught to apply in private stuff? It's just money.
Mhm.
It's predominantly it's about the money. The pay is better if you are teaching in a private school, whether you have to teach like 4. So I mean, private schools have special teachers for each subject.
Even the
But in
reason,
public
see,
schools,
the
sometimes
reason
you
why
have to
people
run-
don't even take their children to public anymore for the university section is just because of strike.
You just cause strike.
Honestly
just
speaking.
Just because of.
And
you
so,
cause
so
strike,
I
just
think
because-
if
that's what we
if
are
the-
saying.
I think if
That
the
is where-
government-
That's not what you are saying.
So
That's not what you are
Let me
saying.
conclude
So
on
public
this.
schools are
Let me
failing.
conclude now so that
We
you
hope
can take
public
it
school
from
can be better. There's no argument about that. They can be better. But as it stands now, I think private schools are doing better.
Okay,
Public
let
schools.
me. Now this is my point. I don't know what yardstick you
Use
have
to draw your
to say
measures.
Yeah.
private is doing better, but as far as I'm concerned, education is holistic. It's not just whether you do paper only. Paper is good, but let's also think of critical thinking and problem solving skills. If we
Applications.
bring this into it, I mean, we used to have technical. Yeah, but there used to be a technical school.
Yes,
at-
not even
do you
one
understand?
longer.
And so
Yeah.
let the government
Yeah, really
invest
do or
more
something.
in this. For those who don't have business in universities, leave it alone. If you don't have business in polytechnic, leave it alone. If you don't have business in colleges of education, leave it alone. Focus, get the basics. That's what happened. It's operational in the States and everywhere. Have your basics, know how to read and write and communicate. She can now solve your problems.
So basically, Julie has said a lot of things. Now, fine, yes, Montessori, blah blah that. It's a method of teaching, but it's for a particular purpose. And that purpose is exactly what you're saying, problem solving and critical thinking. Because they found out that some children, for every child, we have audiovisual learners, we have different kind of aesthetic. Some children, they use their hands to learn. Some children, they use their ears to learn. Some children are visual learners. They use what they see, videos and all of that. You see, number one, basically, let's go to the roots. Education in Africa is a no-no. When you now go to the Western world, most of them are not educated, but you will not know. I have a friend who is white.
Sorry, if I may ask you a question, why do you say education in Africa is a no-no?
It's a no-no, it's poor. We're poorly educated. It's not where it's supposed to be.
It
can be better.
May I ask you a question? Why is it that more of our doctors are employed abroad?
Let's
Because they have the skills now. They
Where
have the
do they learn
skills.
it from?
Can you speak to?
Where do they learn it from?
Please hold on.
Okay,
Yes.
so as I was saying, he has really put me, So basically, even over there in the Western world, I have a friend, and I was surprised because her handwriting skills, in fact, there's something called Nelson handwriting, which some schools, have imbibed, especially private schools. I don't know about public schools because it's like they call it a triple fold grip, the way you hold your pen. And I was looking at her, she was writing, and she was really writing well. You could see that she's skilled. And when she told me that she did not even do secondary school or something like that, primary, whatever, or no, she finished her secondary, the way they call those high school and all of that. And I was shocked because the way she spoke, the way she now in Nigeria, let's look at the statistics. I don't really know the statistics. How many of our youths now that supposedly went to secondary school, look at their handwriting, look at the way they present and communication skills, where is that level? And you're telling me that this and that?
So
No.
let's have you.
Okay, first and foremost, would you like
Not first
to?
and foremost, this probably the last.
Okay,
I never get
my point is this. My point, it may not be up to the extent where your ideal education sector should be, but at least we are getting somewhere. Because if education is a no, trust me, they will not be employing our doctors over there.
Okay.
They will not, our students that live here to go and do PhD or masters there will not
They won't
come
even
out
get
top
admission in the first
in
place.
their classes.
You know.
They won't get that. So I don't know if you've written our exams in this. It will be as if they want you to fail.
And as a matter of fact, in addition,
Our exams here are very
I think they say
difficult.
The way we handle classes here, you compare to the other,
That is why.
Our workload
That is
too.
why- That is what is
Workload.
not
But you know
applicable in
one thing-
private school.
But
That's
you
what
know
they're
one thing,
saying.
let's be
Those are some of the loopholes that private school are introduced to fill. That's what they say.
But do you know one thing? Let me speak to what you're saying.
Okay.
We Nigerians, do you know that we're resilient? In any
Yes.
way we find ourselves, we
Yes,
want to,
every
we have that thing in our blood to come out tops.
Mm.
We're resilient and number, we're patriotic. Everywhere you see in Nigeria, you will know that.
Now
this is a Nigeria.
what makes
So
a
that is
what
that
makes
is
a
what makes us
Nigerian
different.
resilient?
Our-
Is
Because
it not
of
the
our
process
nature.
that
No,
the
it's not
person
the
has
process.
been through?
It's our foundation,
Ah.
right from
So
the
let's-
beginning.
let's-
Wow.
Let's
Foundation
get
and
a
process
first.
is the
Africa,
same. Okay, so let's come
Africa
back.
in its cradle, when you talk of Alexandria in Egypt, it's a home of learning. So let's not say education as well.
What
It
impact
started
has
from
that had in the
Africa,
society
Timbuktu. Timbuktu. When you say Africa, I'm taking you down memory lane, so you know when you say Africa education, we had it. We've messed it up in recent times, but we had it.
Ooh,
And
you
so
messed
please,
it up. I
let's
love that
let's
word.
get some facts
I love
really
that
clear.
word. Messed it up.
What's your point exactly?
We didn't learn from the whites. We didn't learn from the Europeans. We had it. We had our civilization,
But you-
which started from our education.
Yes.
All right. We had commerce and all that going
Yes.
before the transatlantic slave trade stepped in. So
But
please,
you messed it
let's
up.
get the conversation right.
Good.
Africa has its education that met its problem, that
So,
solved
so
its
what
problem.
we are saying basically now, it's we're actually doing a comparison between public and private school. We are not saying Africa do not have.
No, he's just
education.
replying to what she
Okay,
said.
Okay,
So-
we are just trying to compare. Okay, so let me just come in here as well. You guys have actually, don't worry, you take your 30 seconds, but at least let me to say something.
Yes, you should. Why?
No, you can allow him to say, so you just round up.
Okay, so let's
Okay, so government can do better when it comes to public schools. They can do better. But we're calling on them to invest more in education and make it more appealing, make it more functional. I think another thing is that private schools are not competing with public schools. Education, you don't compete. It's not about competition. It's about the act. It's about creating a better society for everybody. So in that vein, this is one of the reasons why private individuals comes up to say, okay, let's support the government. In fact, in the Western world, they have been, even in this country, they have been called on private individuals to come support public schools. In fact, in my state, the state governor recently returned back a public school back to the private owners, which is the missionaries. You understand?
Yes,
So
yes.
I think this is very, very important.
Yeah, very.
Education is holistic, and we must do better in all we are doing.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, everyone. So, but when I start speaking, I just want to say this part as my own contribution, not because I want us to go back to the conversation. Please, you see, I lost my voice already. I'm struggling with it. So, I want to speak to exposure to data. The extent to which private schools are moving, or the pace at which they are moving. Don't forget I talked about categories, though. So, but let's take it a bit higher. You see that their students are more exposed to data. Even while they're in class, they can do internet stuffs and all of that. It makes learning more easier for them compared to that of private schools, where teacher will still have to carry the note and write maybe on the board, either using the chalk or white board or whichever. So I think there's a need for public school to upgrade, when it comes to that level. So everybody can be on the same page. You can be exposed to more data and self-learning, not necessarily waiting for when teachers will come to class and all of that. So
sorry. Government alone can't fund education. Old student association, people should come back and give back to their community.
Yes.
Libraries and laboratories and all that, teaching aids. You don't need the government to.
Okay, so talking about government involvement, you mentioned earlier that private government are lagging behind. Well, to some extent they are trying, but they need to do more. Like you also said, government cannot do it all by themselves. I want to speak to basic amenities, especially for public schools. Private schools, because they collect the money, they can afford to get anything. You are paying for it.
You are paying for tuition.
So for public schools, we keep clamoring for reduced tuition fee or
public schools don't pay tuition.
They have they have some fee they pay.
What
And back then we've had education where it was completely free. You even get books and all of that to go to classrooms. So even though we know that things are changing, times have changed, you need to put in something, because everything that is free sometimes you don't take it too seriously. So you need to put in something one way or the other. Yes. As much as they are trying to make it a bit easier, they should also understand that these basic amenities are very key. Now you talked about pattern of learning. Some love to learn via visuals and all of that. If we introduce all of this into public schools as well,
it's introduced. It's introduced
in all of the public schools.
Now,
yes,
I've not seen a private school whereby visually impaired students are there.
We're not talking about visually impaired.
No, she said.
We're not talking about visually.
We were saying people who learn.
So I'm bringing this not because I want us to get up another conversation. I'm just sharing my own. I noted all of this. So we're talking about playing videos to learn. Because some people learn faster when they see than when you speak to them, when you read to them. So these are the things that should be taken care of. There should be constant electricity. So when there's a need for you to play videos, to teach and all of that, you do that. So that's the aspect that I wanted to speak to. Also, so talking about payment of staff, it's important. Let's not say because they are public servants, you just give them peanuts. In fact, teachers should be paid more. They made doctors, they made lawyers, they made engineers, they made everybody, whatever status.
But but do you know that, when I carried out like my own personal, it's everywhere in the world. Teachers are poorly paid, even in the US, in the UK, most of them complain. It's only in Finland, as I heard, as I researched, that they pay their teachers well. So I don't know why, maybe because they feel that our reward is in heaven. I don't know, but basically everywhere in the world, they are not really paid like that compared to the doctors, the neurosurgeons, all those qualified, professions.
So when we wrap up, so I am saying that we can do better. Encourage them more. Because sometimes they even get discouraged when they know that after a month to end, they will give you my peanuts, Gary. But if you carry them well, you pay them more. At the end of the month, they get some stuff. At the end of the year, they get some stuff. Trust me, they will put more effort. And lastly, I want to speak to, I think it was Israel that said private schools, there was a research of it.
Yes, by
the World
Bank.
That private schools are doing more.
Yes, consistently better.
That's to this report.
Schools, according to
this report. So, if you ask me, you also mentioned earlier that you talked about helping. What did you call
Nelson handwriting?
No. Writing for exam that you
Expo
has. So that I have seen, private schools. I think they are the one that actually help their students more. That I have
help
seen.
Is different from when you are cheating, when you are actually carrying it.
When I say help, maybe I don't want to call it expo.
That's according to.
They get all of these papers from white, and that is why a lot of students, even when they're in public school, you see them want to go and write the exam in private school. They want to go and write their WAEC as an external candidate.
But we have seen
That's
all these
excellent.
schools now
Even
having-
even
I know, what I'm
even in
saying-
the so-called common entrance, private
Yes.
schools still go and write it in public schools.
Okay, fine. I am just saying that at least to some large extent, experiences or probably conversations I've had with people. Private, you see people leaving government schools, going to register as excellent candidate for WAEC at private schools simply because they know that they will get 7 A's, they will get 8 A's. They are scared of the structure, the process in public schools when it comes to marking scheme and all of that. They want to, so it means that they teach them more, they give them that support, they write in papers and scribble to their, you know, their table during exam when you pay the money. You know. So I think we should begin to look at all of this. Private schools, public schools, let's bring all of this down. Let's be more creative in teaching so that they will understand. When it comes to examination, what's the essence? To test you, to try you, to see if all of these things you've been taught, you can actually put them together. And there's no plan in failing.
Yeah, sorry.
When you fail, they don't want to come back.
Just to buttress what you are saying, I think on this table we've had the conversation about the Nigerian education localizing the way we teach.
Yes,
We
using
can
even local
localize our-
languages.
even using local language to teach. This will help
Another thing for us
education.
to think about, why did they start examination? We really need examination.
You know,
Why do
when
we
you
need
study for
examination?
6 years and they are coming to say just
We should
few
find out
questions.
why we started examination
So,
and why,
I
because
think
it's
we're
the
gonna talk
fear
about that
of
some other
failing
time on
an
this show.
examination that drawn people into
into
Yeah.
exams and issue.
But if
and
we
all
don't
of
have examinations, that's another. How will you test?
Access.
There are
How
other
we
ways you
evaluate,
can
you know,
assess. There are other ways
examination
you
is
can
an
evaluate
evaluation
them.
process.
it
So
is.
you can evaluate without necessarily.
I can bet
all
it
we
with
do.
you. The only time you will read more is when you have exam.
True.
And it's not because you want
That's
to
when you
know
read
it.
more.
It's because you want to pass.
All right. Okay. So, guys, thank you very much. I think I've actually made my points.
Sorry, I just
Made
wanted
it,
to add
in
something.
addition. Okay.
Let's forget the public versus private.
Okay.
The people who employ these teachers
Yes.
should not just employ people who are looking for salaries.
Mhm.
They should employ people who have passion for the
Yes.
job. Because people who don't have passion, you find them that they will look for every shortcut to do whatever they are going to do. That's why you find out that some university teachers will leave one school and go and be teaching in another one and neglect the ones in
Medical doctors do the same.
so
Yes,
It's across
yes,
board.
yes.
Private
so-
practices.
You know. Okay, so that's it. We've actually made our point, and I want to believe that for every department that this information is meant for, they will be able to grab it and use it effectively. Want creativity, in the system, want things to change. Yes, life is changing. Everything should flow, and it should be more creative and more positive. There should be positive outcome. All right, guys. So I thought we'll be able to take the second topic, but obviously we've run out of time. We can't take the second, let alone the third topic. We really took time to dwell into the first topic, which is comparing public and private education. Trust me, tomorrow we'll be having another special topic to deal with. And for this, on this note, I will be saying thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of the show. Do not forget to comment, like, and follow us on all our social media platforms. And share. We'll be here tomorrow again to do the same thing. So until tomorrow, stay positive. Thank you, guys. Okay, a very shout out to everybody behind the cameras. Everybody. Those ones that came to give us moral support in the studio. Thank you, guys. Our editors, camera guys. We love you.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Bye.